Alright, check it out. This is the third video in the Montana marker series. Today we got the black line alcohol-based marker. I've got a couple different nib sizes here. We've got the 8mm round, 10mm chisel, and then the 15mm standard broad tip. And so this is an alcohol-based marker. It's permanent ink and it's all-purpose, weatherproof, whole 9 yards. It's UV resistant and it's got the same valve system as the other markers, and which makes it nice, easy, and refillable. And the marker body is actually metal. So that's a cool feature to them. No balls inside or anything, just the ink, and we'll get right into it. So first off, we'll start with the 8mm. I've got 2 markers in that size, both the red and the Cyan. Alright, so first up we've got the blue Cyan, and we'll just be doing the majority of this on the painted surface, but then we'll get into some different variations later on. Next up we've got the red. So the 8mm nib is a nice kind of flat tip. You can really get some nice consistent lines. It's not going to drip a ton as there's a pretty thin nib on the end, but that being said, it does have a fair amount of drips coming throughout, and it sets in a decent amount, but the colors are still true. Got the nice light blue, and then the red's a little bit. We also have an 8mm violet. Alright, so moving on to the 10mm, we have the chisel tip, and we'll start off with the black. Next up we've got the 10mm yellow. Green. Silver chrome. Alright, so now we have the 15mm standard nib, so we'll start off with blue. $15mm cyan. $15mm magenta. And a 15mm chrome. Alright, so now we're going to be testing it on some varied surfaces. I'm just going to be using the 3 primary colors here to show you, one, the difference. So we got an 8, a 10, and a 15. Show you the flow on each of them, as well as how they set into the surface, how they streak on like a metal surface. And so let's get into it. So first up, we'll do some red on cardboard. Now we've got some slick plastic. And lastly, some slick metal. Alright, check it out. So we've just completed the first preliminary test of all of them on a bunch of different surfaces. Now we're going to do a buff test on the painted surface. The rest of them, it'll probably emulate the same thing. So I'm going to pick the red in the 8mm to go off of, as that's pretty much the most like middle tone out of all of them. You got the lighter ones like the yellow and the green, the cyan. Then you've got the darkers like the straight up blue, the violet, and the black. So I figured that would be a good one. And I've already kind of done a preliminary test of the buff test, and it's going to take a lot of coats, I can tell you that much. So let's just jump into it and see how many coats it takes to kind of really cover up the tag. So I've gone ahead and added a few more coats after filming, and this is the final product here. You can see I went over all the colors actually, just so I had to eventually, so I might as well have gotten it on the video. So this is about the extent I'd go for the red. That was our kind of medium line, but we ended up finding out that some other colors actually worked really good. The purple probably bled the best, that and the blue. Those pigments really did well. And anything, I guess, more than this or less than this, it was, you know, still legible. And now anything afar from a few feet away, you can't really read it. So I thought this was a good point to kind of call it off and see how they all work. So here we have the black, it's still bleeding through, the yellow's still bleeding through, magenta's pretty much covered up as well as the green, a little bit of yellow there, but blue and purple and red are still holding in fairly strong. But yeah, so if you have any questions about the paint, feel free to head over to 33third.com where you can order some yourself. It worked really well. It's really probably 10-15 coats in. Like, it took a ton of time to paint over all this, and that being said, if you are rocking these, they will last up in the streets. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comment section down below, and feel free to head over to 33third where you can use my coupon code to save yourself on ordering some of these markers. And if you haven't checked out some of the other videos in the series, those will be linked on screen right now, as well as in the description, where you can head over there, see how the acrylic markers held up in both the larger sizes and smaller sizes. And yeah, I really enjoyed making these, and if you do head over to 33third, be sure to use the coupon codes, as it helps me make more of these videos and review different products. I have reviewed tons of spray paint and stuff. These are my first marker reviews, so if you have any suggestions about future reviews, how the style was done, just let me know, and I'll be sure to consider that. Peace.